In today's video, we're going to be doing an unboxing of some modern age Grail books that my buddy Rich found in his collection that he hadn't looked at in many decades. So stick around. We're going to go through that. We're going to check out the grades on them and find out what you got. Are you excited?
Yeah, we're looking forward to it.
All right. Well, stick around. We'll be right back. Hello and welcome to Swarm of Comics. I'm Randy, your handsome and humble host, and today I am joined by my good buddy Rich. Say hi, Rich.
Hello, everybody.
Thank you for coming on the show.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah, it's a lot of fun. I love having people. And actually, our best reactions are when we have guest stars on the show, like my buddy George, guitar player, comic book writer, and my brother, Bronze Age Bill. We'll try and find a good nickname for you. Yeah.
I'm sure this will be the worst
worst ever. I'm looking forward to 20 views on this one. No, once they see the thumbnail and they know what's going on here. So, funny story. Rich is here because Rich and I have known each other for like 10 years, and we worked together and we're buds and came to my wedding and everything like that. And at some point recently, the subject of comic books came up, and you mentioned something along the lines of, yeah, when I used to work at the comic book store and all my comics. And I was like, how has it been like 10 years and I don't know any of this? And we got talking about it. And I offered to Rich, hey, and Rich had said to me right up front, listen, I got some comic books left over from when I was a kid and I was younger. I used to work at a comic store, but all my good ones got stolen. But it's always worth going through, especially if somebody hasn't looked at their collection in a long time. So I offered to do that. And spoiler, he had some amazing books in there, and it's kind of just a little funny story about how it happened. So I'm going to tell you, we got those books, we sent them off to CGC, and now we're going to do an unboxing of those. He also has another box of books that's sort of hidden there behind the daybed that I still got to go through. Them, no grails, but there might be ones worth definitely saving or putting in Mylars or maybe even grading. I've been lazy and I still haven't got to those. So I'm going to tell the story, and Rich, you jump in at any point to add some color to this story.
Certainly. I got all the background.
He does have all the background. And from my perspective, we went and we were going through these books. And I think your collection was a combination of your books and your cousin's books.
Yeah, eventually there was a certain period of time in which my cousin was getting rid of his book, and he asked me if I wanted them.
Yeah.
And I think I traded him beer for it. It was like literally like
he was 11. He was 11 years old, by the way.
Yes, exactly. No, this was somewhat recently, much to the chagrin of my wife, because I already had these comic book boxes that had been following us
around everywhere.
Yeah, just throwing them in the basement that I had forever. So it was, yeah.
And
so it was like
and you guys have probably heard me talk about, just in the last 4 or 5 years ago, I sold 28 boxes, long boxes of comics, and got rid of the majority of my collection. Yeah. I'm glad I did. I don't want to keep schlepping them around forever for the past 40 years. But being honest, every time something becomes hot and becomes a book that's amazing that I realized I had, it sort of gets me a little bit right here.
Yeah.
So you had sort of piled up this collection between yourself and your cousin.
Yeah.
But your good stuff was gone. And how did you lose your good stuff?
So when I went to college in 1990, so when I went to college, I was like, I didn't have much room, but I wanted to have my, some of my comic books. So I decided to take like all of my best comic books and I put them into one box. It was probably the dumbest thing that I ever did, because like about midway through or 2/3 the way through, the box just all of a sudden ended
like your first semester or something?
Yeah. Yep. Well, no, it was my second semester.
Yeah.
But yeah, the box just ended up missing.
So then he's got a whole bunch of like 6 long boxes of commons sitting at his house. Yeah. That is always worth going through.
Yes.
So I came over, I hung out, I interrupted his wife watching the hockey game, and we sat down. And the way I would do it is I would take the long boxes and I would stand them up. That way I can take sections of books out and read through them without them all flopping and falling over. Most of them, the only ones that really had bags or anything on them were the ones you got from your cousin.
Yeah.
Also,
some of them of mine.
Some of yours.
Like yeah, they were here and there.
Spoiler, all of his books from his cousin were like every image book from the 90s. They're all worthless.
Yeah.
There's not a single one worth anything. I mean, hundreds and hundreds of them.
Yeah, it was all
I
garbage.
didn't even realize how many of these super teams and hero book
Oh, there were so
Image
many.
had. I'd never even heard of them. Like you would have thought he was making it up like they were parody books.
Yeah,
The
they were
names of-
parody books, to be honest,
They
if you
were.
think about it.
Yeah. It's like Kill Team 8 and
Yes,
all these
exactly.
crazy things.
Yes, always one big dude and one badass chick,
And-
and then like
yep,
some
exactly.
fuck guy, and it was like
Yep.
all the same things, just like rinse repeat
The s-
into like
the
10 different comic books.
same archetypes. to all
Or
the books.
or somebody trying to create the next Spawnish kind of character, you know?
Right. Yeah, there was a bunch of them. He did have some Witchblades and some things like that, but
Witchblades are
again,
good.
yeah, they're good, but they weren't. I was there to sort through to find out if he had like Grail books or anything like that. So as I'm going through these stacks of long boxes, he's getting boxes ready for me. So, we're sorting through some, find some decent stuff, some like 80s Spider-Man and things like that. And I'm taking these out, and out of the corner of my eye, Rich takes the lid off of a box. And the dog wants, what does the dog want? You guys all know Mario Speedwagon. He's bopping around here somewhere. So out of the corner of my eye, I can see him. He's got the box flat and he takes the lid off of it, and a book falls out onto his floor. We're just sitting on the floor. And out of the corner of my eye, I'm like, did I just see what I think I saw? And I did. And Rich was basically like, oh, I didn't even know that was in there. And then I start looking, and I mean, I know you're going to be just watching my hands like talk about it, but the long box like this, all of a sudden we start looking, they're magazine size books, so they don't fit in. And what he's realized is that on the side of the book, so if all the books are this way, this book's this way because they were too big to fit in.
Yeah.
And the book that was on the top was just laying on the top of the books, no bag or board, just fell out on the floor. And then we start looking, and there's more books on the side. And I was like, do you even know what you have here? And he was like, I don't know why I suddenly sound like Jay Leno. Like,
Yeah.
I don't know.
I don't think that's how it went. I was like, I knew what it was.
Well, it was, but you didn't know what you had.
Yeah, I didn't know
that
what
was
I
the
had.
difference what I said. They were in rough shape. There were books he said to me, he goes, you love these books, you read them, you got them.
Oh yeah, and I got them. I was in middle school, and I
Right.
read them constantly. They were well-loved books. for
Well-loved
sure.
books, but it didn't matter. And what's funny is I said to him, I said, you got three choices here as far as I'm concerned. Sell them to me as is,
Mhm.
keep them as is, and you keep them, or get them graded and preserve them. And I know a lot of people don't feel like CGC and grading or CBCS or whatever is preserving books, but it really is. And it's a nice way to display them. I know that there's magnetic cases, I know there's Mylars and things like that, but really these are types of books that you want to get done.
Yeah.
So without further ado, I've already babbled on for 20 minutes about this with a little bit of the setup in the background. We're going to start getting to them, and then we'll talk more in between. So
Yeah.
I know what the people want. Just
Oh, there's a lot of story.
fast forward. Just fast forward if you want to get to it.
Still so much story left.
So there's a couple of my books in here too, and I don't know the order. I just got the box next to me here. You can see this, the big giant CGC box. So I'm going to start pulling them out, and we'll talk about them one by one.
Okay.
And we don't know the grades on these. I didn't peek. I haven't looked at them all. I have a guess at what I think the grades are.
They're probably not great.
They're not good. They're low to maybe mid-grade, but most likely low. So, do we want to start with the big? We'll start with
Let's start for the one that was on top.
Let's just start with the one that was on top, the big enchilada. And here it was. Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles #1, third print. Because nobody was finding a first print randomly.
I bought that thing literally right off the shelf when I was, I think, between 7th and 8th grade. And even when I bought it, I was like, this looks cool, but like nobody's ever going to read this book.
Yep.
Nobody in the whole world is going to read any of this stuff. I said it looked cool, but it looked totally like, your complete indie stuff. Nothing like any of the DC Marvel stuff at all.
Right.
I was like, never thought anything of it.
Yep. And here it was.
There it was.
And this is a notoriously hard book to get in good grades because it's an indie book. Kids read them. It's black. Spine ticks and color rub and everything show up big time.
Mhm.
And this is rough. So if I was to guess, I would guess it's a 4.5.
Yeah, that was what you told me at the time.
Oh, I
told me
did.
about a
Okay. At
four.
least I'm consistently
Yeah,
bad.
yeah, yeah.
at
You told me four is what you told me.
Four. Yeah. But we had my buddy Tom,
Yeah.
Comic Tom at the Silver Age Collector, press it. So maybe a press straightened it out a little bit, got some of the wrinkles out, and made it a 4.5 or something like
Yep.
that.
Yep.
So this is the big one,
Yeah,
Rich.
I'm actually glad this is the first one because this one is definitely the one I would want to like kind of talk about
Yeah.
why it ended up where it ended up and,
Yeah.
and
Yep.
got revealed. All right, let's see.
Right. And I want to tell you guys, it didn't even have a bag or a board. So we're going to see
Didn't
what it
even have a
gets.
bag or a board.
Ready? 4.
Five.
So there is your book. It's a nice presenting 4.5
Yep.
on camera. In real life, it's a little rougher than
A
you'd
little
think.
rough, yeah. Yeah,
So-
you can see all the
yeah.
ticks and then there's the little rubs and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And
The back is a
got
little,
little rubs and a little
Yeah.
bit here and there. You can even see. You can probably even see
Yeah,
that.
you can
Yeah,
see it
pick
pretty
that
good
up.
right there.
Yep, there you go.
and it's not $1 million book. It's not a first print, but it was his book. And I know it's why I said to him, I said, here's your choices. What do you want to do? And he said, matter of fact, I'm going to jump ahead. The next day before he gave him the answer of what he wanted to do, I said to him, you're keeping them and you're getting them graded because you need to do that. You have to do that because my mind, I would have given him a fair price, but in my mind, I was like, well, this is easy. This is Ninja Turtles #1 third print. I don't care what grade it is. I can have one if he's not interested and doesn't care. And I thought about it overnight. I don't know if I told you this. The next day I was like, no, that was his book from when he was a kid. Just like I have my Spider-Man stuff. He has to keep that book. I don't want it. You could have offered me for $10. I wouldn't have bought it.
Yeah. Oh, that's cool. No, I think, and it was funny because again, like I thought this book was stolen. I literally thought this book was stolen with that group of comic books.
Yeah.
And so I, for the longest time, didn't even realize it. So it was just sitting in this book of all these old comics that I had collected when I was a kid.
That you didn't bother to continue to go through.
I just didn't keep going through. And it was like, as I got older and then I went away to college and they were gone, I just thought that they were all gone. And at that time I was into the Image nonsense, like just like everybody else. I was crazy for all of the stuff. Oh yeah. Sure.
I don't own any Image books.
but so I didn't realize, and that book literally just stayed in my parents' basement till about 2005 when I finally brought it up to here when we moved to New Hampshire, and then it just sat in my basement till literally we opened it up.
And if I remember correctly, you just didn't even think a third print anybody cared about.
Yeah, nobody. Well, I mean, that was when I was a kid, and I like when I bought it. And I looked at it and I was like, oh, it's a third print. You know, it's already like not even worth anything. So so that was my notion and idea. So that like later when the Ninja Turtles became big, I was like, man, I can't believe that mine was stolen. That would have been something if I had found it back then. But it was like, I never even realized that I still had it.
And this is your first graded book.
My first graded book.
It's a Ninja Turtles #1, 1985 from New Hampshire. Yep. You know, the guy's up in Dover.
Oh yeah, no, it's so weird that I now live very close to where
you do, right? Exactly.
So I lived right outside of Philadelphia when so a place called Bluebell, Pennsylvania, and there was it was a used bookstore that also sold some comic books, right? It was like a small little tiny place.
Yep.
How on earth am I finding a Ninja Turtles there, right?
Yeah.
It's like craziness.
That is a beautiful one. So that's your first book. Let's pull out and see what the next one is.
There's gonna be a theme here.
Is there going to be a theme? There might be a theme. You never know.
You never know.
Are we ready for this one?
Yep.
Ninja Turtles Raphael #1 only issue. It was only #1. This was also in there, but I think this was in a bag and a board in there. But it was one of the books that was
on the side.
On the side.
Yeah, because like you said, I couldn't fit them in the comic, so I put them on the side, and that's why most of them have gotten lost. Really.
Yep. So this is it. This is your second graded book. We started pulling these books out, and I was like,
he was going nuts. You were going nuts. You're like, are you kidding me? Are you kidding me?
Let me tell you, when he pulled that cover off, and the Ninja Turtles #1 fell on the floor randomly, and I was like, first I had a heart attack, and then second I was like, holy shit. So, excuse my language. Bleep that out. This is a family program. All right.
Now you tell me it's a family program.
Don't you watch my program? You didn't know? All right. So let's see what the grade. Also rough. I mean, it's got an 800 spine ticks up the back. They were well-loved, well-read books.
Especially this one. I love this.
Yeah, we might be at a 4 for this one. So let's see what we have.
6.
A 6. What?
All right, I'll take it.
Yeah. This isn't terrible. This might be worse than that one.
Well, no, that one, the scuffs, I think, make that one worth it. This one
This
presents way
has
better. Oh, yeah, yeah, yeah.
creases on the
does have
corner.
that. That's
It's got
very true.
big creases here. You can see
But the
them.
back looks really nice too. Like the back looks really nice.
The back looks nice until you look at the 800 color breaking spine ticks on it. No complaint. It's amazing.
Yeah, I'm not going to sell this book.
Yep. So this is the first Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle spinoff. It's also the first appearance of Casey Jones.
Oh, yep. I didn't know that.
Who's right on the cover right there. So that was his first appearance. A 6.0. Congratulations on that.
Thank you.
That is your book. That is amazing. I know you guys sense.
I think I read this one more times than I read the original.
So you guys did sense a little bit of a theme here. All right, pulling out the next one. And we are missing one in the series.
Yeah.
So, which is kind of a bummer, but the next one is
boom.
Yep, issue number 3. Beautiful blue cover. I have one of these. I've unboxed it and displayed mine before and stuff like that. This is in much better shape. If that other one got a 6, I don't know how this wouldn't get a 7 or 7.5. It is a little dirty, but again, this is 1985 Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles number 3. There was no number 2 in there. That's the cool shredder cover.
Oh, you know, I never had that one. I never had that one.
All right, so let's see what this is.
I don't know how I missed it.
My guess is going to be a 7. 6.5.
See, now that is weird that one is a 6.
Right, you could.
This one is a 6.5.
So everybody always says, well, you're not an expert. You don't know CGC. I don't know. There's some pages coming out there. That is interesting. Maybe that's part of the problem. Maybe it's the inside. And again, a 6.5 is not a problem. But if you could really see, we talk about inconsistency, and then I'll get the people that comment, and I don't disagree with you. They say, it's so inconsistent. Why get it graded? Why would you ever trust them? If you ever could see those two, can I see the other one? If you ever could see the condition of these two books, this is so much better than this. And they're only half a grade apart.
Again, I do think though, when you talk about that internal page coming out.
Yeah, it could be the internal page.
But I don't even know what is it. Like, is that actual page? Because like it's way much higher.
Oh, you know what that is? That's the paper strip that they put in there. That's just the paper.
Oh, gotcha.
They'll put a piece of paper in there. This is in really nice shape. This is at least should have been a 7. So this is the part where I get angry and mad about it. Not being a 7.
But so, it evened out in the wash. Maybe that's what you gotta do. Maybe you just get so many graded that it all evens out in the wash. It all evens
out in the end. Well, that's it. You got number 3 here.
Yeah.
Personal collection from when you were a kid. This just doesn't happen.
Those came off of the newsstand.
Just doesn't happen.
Not the newsstand.
So now here's what's the funny story going to be is that I have a Ninja Turtles book in here. Same issue you do. Number 4.
Yep.
So I gave them to Comic Tom, my buddy Tom, and he looked at them and he goes, how am I supposed to tell the difference between them? And he looked and he goes, oh, your copy, Randy, is much better than your buddy's copy. Yeah. So we're going to just unbox the 2 of them, and whichever one is the better grade is mine.
Somewhat shady to me.
Oh, it seems shady.
I'm just going to give you the worst graded one though.
I bought mine.
How about we just like do like a thing in back of our back and just see who gets the one?
Let's see what this is. Now let me look at this. This is filthy.
Yeah, that one.
You ate your lunch on there or something like that?
Probably. It could have.
All right, but it's number 4, Ninja Turtles. Oh, it's dirty on the back.
Yep,
I know you guys will never see that, but it's pretty dirty. So let's see. This is
I'm
probably
assuming that one's mine.
Yeah, it's probably a 4.5 or a 5.
What the fuck? That one's mine.
Well, so mine was a 7.5.
You've already established that mine's 30, and that was big.
Hold it for a second. You don't just hold it.
We've already established that this one's big.
Well, let's just see what the other one is. Yeah, that's yours. It's 7.5. So there it is. We have the matching ones.
That is incredible.
Yeah.
That's incredible.
I'm going to let you look. Oh, yeah. See, you know what? The paper's falling out of this one, too.
Yeah.
They put little strips of like tissue paper between the pages, and it's falling out. And look at this. It's actually not even in the plastic clip inside there.
Yeah, well,
is yours in the clip? No. So you look at the 2 of these and you tell me from front and back which one you think is there really only a 1 grade difference? Maybe.
Yeah. I mean, the yellowing on these pages is worse than the yellowing on mine.
Well, let's read what it says. Mine has off white to white pages. Yours is the same,
but I mean, they're like,
yeah,
it's close.
It's close. So what I look at is the dirt down the spine.
Yeah, and this one's got some stuff on that one too.
Yeah.
Right there.
It's just a grade difference.
Yeah, I think that's probably
I'll
pretty
just take
accurate.
mine.
Oh,
Thank
is that
you.
the one?
Yeah,
Oh,
so
sorry.
I'll take my 8.5. Nice try.
Yeah.
The nice thing
Like
is
looking at it in the thing, it's reversed.
with a white, yeah, that's right. You look at the camera. When you look at white books, you see less stuff. You see more dirt, but you see less spine ticks. You see less creases. So, all right. So my Ninja Turtles collection now consists of issue number 3 and 4. Now I just have to work on 1 and 2, the hard ones. So cool. So that was my 8.5. I have no problem with that. I mean, that was pretty good.
Yeah, 8.5.
So those were your books, my friend. So that is the collection. Raphael, number 1, issues number 1, 3, and 4. I love it. Matter of fact, give me these.
Yep.
We're gonna do this little thing, and then we're gonna pose, and then I'm gonna like screen capture them later, us holding up the Ninja Turtles. So you're gonna hold them up, try not to get the glare of the lights in them, and look at the camera. You guys all came along for the ride on that one. So you guys get to see the behind the scenes process. So there is your first collection. There's your first graded books.
Nice.
Those are 4 good books to have graded.
Yes. And there's, I was excited too because like there were some decent, it's a couple of good ones that I also forgot that I had or
Yes.
thought were gone. So
yeah,
there was a couple. So I'm looking forward to the next.
Yeah. So he's got a short box back there, maybe half full, and I'm going to go through that. I might even make a video of going through it and looking, saying this is worth it, this isn't.
Yeah.
Do it get graded? So we're going to do that. Now I have 2 more books. This is a magazine size submission. So for any of you new to this or you don't know this, you can't put the comic books, regular size comic books, in with magazine size comic books. So all these Ninja Turtles were ninja sized. They were all ninja sized.
Ninja sized.
They were ninja sized comics. And in a recent video I did, I purchased from a friend of mine 2 issues of Warrior magazine, which was a British anthology in the very early 80s. Mm-hmm. And they featured some of Alan Moore's early work of V for Vendetta and Miracle Man, which was Marvel Man before that. And if you watch some of my videos when I unboxed a 1950s Marvel Man, you know that Marvel Man is just Captain Marvel reimagined in the 1950s when superheroes became turds and nobody cared anymore. But in the UK, they kept the rights of them and they gave him blonde hair and they called him Marvel Man instead of Captain Marvel. And that's where Marvel Man actually came from. And then Alan Moore brought him back, made it a more serious book. And because of the Marvel Comics rights to things, they changed it to Miracle Man.
Alan Moore only does serious books.
He only does serious books. So I bought issues 1 and 2. Mm-hmm. And I'm going to get them done here. I bought them from my buddy Comic Carl. I can't remember his handle on Instagram, but he's on there. He'll probably make comments down there. It's my buddy. I hope to have him on the show to do a top 10 of like his top 10 golden age books or best books, because his collection is unbelievable. It makes my collection look like 90s image books. So these I got from Comic Carl, and I'm going to show these. So I don't know the grades on these, but I'm hoping they're high. I really started to look at the books after I got them, and I felt like they weren't as high as I thought when I first bought them and what I offered to pay for them, but it is what it is. I was just happy to have them, as this is issue number 1. So this is issue number 1. This is Warrior magazine, and it was an anthology. So as you can see, the main character in this book here was Axel Pressbutton. He's back, the psychotic cyborg, which is hilarious that he's the main draw here because nobody knew. V for Vendetta right here. There's V. Mm-hmm. And down here is the mystery, which is Miracle Man, Marvel Man. They're just off to the side. So this is an oversized anthology. This is a big book. They were big in the UK doing these things. So the story is that Warrior magazine was putting out this anthology, and every issue is a piece of these stories, including V for Vendetta. And then it got canceled. And we never got the end of V for Vendetta. And then DC, of course, after Alan Moore made it big with, Watchmen and Swamp Thing and, his really famous Superman stories and stuff like that. Whatever Happened to the Man from Tomorrow. Great story to read. They published the full thing of V for Vendetta, and we got the 12-issue miniseries, I think in 1988, which I absolutely love. And I have the whole series. My brother and I, we share it. It was like his books, and he let me have them, but we kind of like share them. So this is the first appearance of V for Vendetta. Let me see what it says. First appearance of V for Vendetta and Marvel Man. Later became Miracle Man. United Kingdom. See, I didn't make any of that up. 1982, Quality Comics. And let's see what we got. 8.0. I would say that's lower than I expected. I would not say I'm disappointed, but I am disappointed a little bit. I was hoping for a 9.0. An 8 is a little rough.
Off-white to white.
Off-white to white pages, also a little rough. This is definitely not what I had hoped for. But that's what you do. You take a chance. You know? It's fine. It's an 8.0.
All works out in the end.
Yeah. All right. But
law of averages. Come on now.
all that right. I got that 9.8 on that Amazing Spider-Man number 300, and that'll never stop being the best deal of the century. CGC's trying to get it back from me little by little like this. So yay, an 8.0. It's awesome. What I care about is the first appearance of V for Vendetta. I care about the character. I can't wait to, now that I have more magazine size ones, I'm going to swap it out soon for behind me and really display the cool ones there. So not a big surprise. Issue number 2 is the last book. So I don't know why I'm covering it up, because it's probably like a 6 or something like that. This one looks in better shape.
It looks in much better shape.
Yeah, so this one's in better shape.
Pages are cleaner too.
Yeah, the whites are whiter. This one could easily be in the 9s. It got to be in the 9s if the other one's an 8. So let's see what we have, 9.4. But it's the second issue. It would have been nice if it was the first issue. You know what I didn't notice on the magazine books, or maybe it's all of them? They used to have the grade and information on the back here. Maybe these new cases or the cases don't. Everybody always says, oh, the new cases or the old cases. I can't ever tell.
What's the QR code go to?
The QR code goes to, you can look it up on the CGC website. And what you can do is you can find out graders' notes there and information that they log about it. So they might log in this book and say, well, you might have to have the account. But you can look it up. Give it a QR code. We're going to see. So I've got the Warrior books. Very happy about that. I definitely would like them both in the 9.0s. I'm not going to lie. Like, that's a dramatic difference, and they aren't that different in shape. You got it? Does it have any graders' notes? Third printing. Keep going down. I want to see graders' notes. So graders' notes for Ninja Turtles #1 third print. You're not going to be able to see that on my crappy camera. Crease left top of back cover, breaks color, creasing bends, cover breaks, spine stress. Yeah.
Well, they even have like little
they took photos of it.
Yeah.
So there's photos of your book.
Cool.
So
awesome.
Yeah. So these are pretty cool. I'm glad I got these done. I'm glad I bought these. I definitely maybe a little underwater on 8.0, but the 9.4 is pretty good. That is in beautiful shape. Actually, I'm not even sure why it's only a 9.4. That's actually really good shape. Maybe some finger bends.
I'm very impressed with that one too.
Right?
I mean, I couldn't tell you what grade it is, but it looks really nice.
I'm pretty good at guessing grades. Now I better be getting better at guessing grades. So yeah, that was kind of the story of how we got together, and you know,
Randy almost lost his shit and was freaking out at me because
well,
telling me not to touch it. I was like, it's mine.
Oh yeah, I was like, don't even touch the books.
Touch it. Stop
don't touch the books. He's like manhandling them like it's my nail or something.
Exaggerator.
Me? An exaggerator? Yes. What say you, internet? So yeah, that's the video for today. I appreciate you coming on. If we get any of those, if I decide any of your other books are worth grading, we'll do this all over again.
Yeah, there's definitely a couple I'd like to just have.
So that's the other thing is that, and because Rich is newer to this grading thing, and I'm still fairly new, not everything is about, is it worth grading because of money or whatever. It might be worth grading for, you know, display purposes, or you want to preserve it, or you just want to get it graded.
I'm gonna put them on a wall. I'm gonna put them in my pinball room.
Yep, that's right. I love it. I love it. So, anybody you want to say hi to?
Hi, everybody.
You want to say hi to Ricky? You want to say hi to Jamie? You gotta say hi to everybody.
I'll definitely say hi. Ricky is got his own YouTube things. He's probably even not going to pay attention to this.
Oh, come on. Tell him to subscribe to my channel. So
I tried to get him in the comic books and he wouldn't do it. So what am I supposed to do?
God, he's going to regret that someday. You know who wants to be into comic books? My mom. Because my mom loves dolls and collected dolls and buys dolls, and she'll sell them. And when, you know, things ebb and go back and forth. And the more I get into this and she learns about it, she's like, I should have got into comic books instead of dolls. I'd be a millionaire now.
Except for the thousands of comic books you'd have to buy just to get one or two of the good ones.
Monthly ones. But if you were smart about investing books that were key issues.
Yeah, but we didn't even really know what were key issues back then. It was only years later when you realized that was key issues.
I know. Well, that's enough out of me here today at Swarm of Comics. I'm Randy.
And I'm Rich.
And thanks for joining me today, buddy.
Glad to be here, buddy.
I had a fun time.
Me too.
All right. Thanks, everyone. Make sure you comment, like, and subscribe. Bye.
Bye.